Talking to Grant Holcomb, the director of the commercial division of the Duncan Duo team. Grant at theduncanduo.com, 813-777-4512. Andrew Duncan with the Duncan Duo team at LPT Realty. We love helping other real estate agents with their commercial needs, as I talked about before. And Grant is much different than a typical commercial agent because he did residential for years before he transitioned. So he knows the plight of the residential agent. Very responsive, customer service oriented, works weekends, answers his phone, which again, I joke about that. I'm not kidding you. Most of the clients I have that are investing and buying and selling, they'll literally say oh, that guy's never going to call me back. I've called him before. I don't ever hear from him. It's wild that it's that much of a problem, but definitely not going to be a problem with Grant. So Grant, you born and raised in Tampa, been here
I've been here since I was 5 years old.
Yeah. So been here, 40 plus years. I've been here 25 now, and man, Tampa, the commercial development is amazing. What's happening. It's insane.
It's insane.
It used to feel like a small town, and it now feels like a big city. And so we have a lot of clients that are coming in and they want to buy land, they want to develop, they want to take older properties and redevelop them. They want to put in new structures, and it's growing a lot, and it's leaning on the infrastructure a lot. I will say that I have seen the city of Tampa out recently doing some infrastructure improvements. I've seen some road improvements.
I have as well.
So kudos to the city of Tampa. I know sometimes they get beat up a lot, but I've seen a lot of stuff in my neighborhood and around our office building start to get improved. I'm hoping they get to Interbay from Bayshore, from Bayshore to Del Mabry. That's the last complaint I have. They nailed Himes. They got McDill. They did Bayshore. They made Del Mabry super nice. They've done a lot, but Interbay is like going on the Motor Enclave off-road course. The potholes on Interbay, it's and look, I drive sports cars, and sports trucks. So I drive it and it's rattling,
right.
So Interbay needs to get done. That's the last complaint I have. But no, I have seen a lot of progress with it, and they have to because we're growing so much as a city. But speaking about the development piece, there are a lot of customers out there that have older properties that they may not realize, the value may be in their land. They may say, oh, I rent it out, or I have this strip center and I have this. Talk about that, because I think that a lot of commercial property owners don't realize that there is massive value in their land. And I think we're going to see a big uptick in our real estate market in 26 and 27. And some of them are sitting on the structure that really isn't much. It's the land that's worth the money.
Absolutely. I'm seeing it, for example, in Seminole Heights. There's the church, a church that we just listed and had under contract within a week.
Yeah.
That particular property, the value is in the land. The structure of the building is a 7,400 square foot building. Not a whole lot of value in the building, but the land itself was probably worth, $1.3 million.
Yeah.
So, but the church had no idea. They didn't know. They thought, oh, I just have this old building and it's probably worth X. I think they thought it wasn't even worth $1 million.
Yeah, but it was the land. It was the land because somebody
absolutely the land.
So if you do have an older structure, if you've got a property, maybe it's a rental, maybe it's a strip center. There's a lot of opportunity out there, and sometimes we have customers that'll come to us, and I think this is key too. If you do own some of those commercial opportunities and maybe you don't want to put it on the market, maybe you're like, I've got land or I've got a strip center. Of course, it tends to do better when it's on the market and it has the most amount of eyes, but that doesn't mean we can't facilitate a sale privately. You may not want your tenants to know. You may not want to lose people. So there's plenty of opportunities. We have connections to hedge funds, big investor groups. So talk about how the off-market side of things works with commercial, because it's way more rampant than it is on residential.
Right. So off-market, what I've seen is there's a lot of sellers out there who are open to selling their property. They just don't want to market it. They're like, I'm not in a rush, but if someone gives me what I want on it, I'll sell it. I don't really see that too much in residential because people live in the house. It's their home.
Where it's probably common would be either flip type opportunities, flooded homes that could be flipped, or really high end.
Right.
You do see it in the super luxury stuff because somebody's got a $10 million house. Maybe they're a celebrity. Sure. They don't want their house on the market. They don't want it on the news. So they'll reach out to a handful of brokers and say, hey, I've got this. And I'll sell it. So, but you're right. From the majority of our price ranges in Tampa, it's not common.
Right.
But it is very common in commercial. So if you are one of those people, again, Grant can help. 813-777-4512 or Grant at theduncanduo.com. Even if you're just looking for a buyer, or if you're a buyer and you're looking for something specific, we can see if we can be a matchmaker. There's times where we've had clients reach out and Then we comb our database and say, hey,
Right.
what's there? What do we have? Who do we know that may have an opportunity here? And obviously you're in touch with a lot of commercial property owners, business owners. We are too, not just with you, but at the company level myself. So there's opportunities for us to find those. So if you're somebody looking for something off market or looking to sell off market, we can help with that on the commercial side. Again, much different than the residential side, because the residential side, there's a lot of restrictions on what we can do with off market. Like even from a standpoint of selling an off market, and it's got to go on the MLS. It's got to do this. It's got to do that. There's all these restrictions and codes of ethics, and commercial doesn't have the same regulatory oversight. And a lot of the players are looking to make moves and do things privately.
I agree. I totally agree with you on that.